January 16th, 2025 was home to Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. The game of the year released this day, and well, I guess Nintendo Switch 2 was also announced. But seriously though, Nintendo Switch 2 was announced, and this trailer was insane. We got a look at the next Nintendo system, a look at a brand new Mario Kart game, and thanks to this, we have an idea of what we're going to be going into the next generation for Nintendo. Now, what does this trailer hold, however? That's what I'm going to be going over today. I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Christendo, and if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel as it helps me out a ton. I want to try to reach 10,000 subs by the end of the year, and your subscription could help me out a ton. While you're at it, if you want to talk to me and others about all things Nintendo, consider joining the Discord server. The link is down in the description. With that being said, let's take a look at the first look of Nintendo Switch 2. The trailer starts off with the original Switch we all know and love. However, as the trailer goes on, the tablet grows in size, going from the original Switch's 6.2-inch LCD screen to the Switch 2's possibly 8-inch screen, which is more than likely LCD as well, rather than OLED. From there, the original Switch begins transforming into the Switch 2. Firstly, the design of the Switch becomes more sleek and more modern looking, which looks really good. And then the rails that the Joy-Cons would go on Switch 1 become little divots where the new Switch Joy-Cons would attach. Moving to the bottom of the console, we still have the USB-C port where the tablet would connect to the dock, and on the top we have the volume and power buttons, game cartridge slot, headphone jack, and new to the Switch 2, a USB-C port, most likely added for easier charging and handheld mode, but there is some speculation that could be used for accessories as well. Moving to the back of the console now, the kickstand is U-shaped and seems to have the same kind of flexibility as the Switch OLED's kickstand. It's also safe to assume that the microSD card slot will be hidden behind the kickstand just like it is on the original Switch. Moving into the Joy-Cons now, the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are pretty similar to the original Switches, however they're significantly bigger than the original Switches, with there being an additional button on the right Joy-Con that looks similar to the screenshot button. Based on leaks, this will be the C button, but the functionality at this time has not been confirmed. And rather than being the neon red and blue of the original Switch Joy-Cons, these Joy-Cons are a black color and they look really nice. To make up for the lack of color, however, the right Joy-Con kind of has a neon rubber coating around the joystick, and on the left one, it's a neon blue coating that's kind of the same color as the new 2DS XL. The rails where the original Joy-Con would connect to the Switch are now thicker, with the player number lights being on the side rather than top, as well as there being SL and SR buttons which are much bigger than the Switches, a sync button, a little gap where the Joy-Cons would attach to the tablet, and based on leaks, an optical sensor much like one of a mouse that's between the SR button on the right Joy-Con and SL button on the left Joy-Con, and the part where the Joy-Con attaches to the tablet. The triggers on the Switch 2 Joy-Cons appear to be much bigger than the ones of the original Switches, and on the back of the Joy-Con, there's an additional trigger-like button, and this is used to disconnect the Joy-Cons from the Switch 2. The Joy-Cons can be attached to the new Joy-Con straps by just being slipped into them, and the grips have little divots where the SL and SR buttons are, rather than there being extra little added triggers like the original Switches. It also seems like the Joy-Cons connect to the Switch 2 through magnets, and on the side of the tablet, there's a little part that sticks out a bit in the divot where the Joy-Cons go into, and that lines up with a little gap in the Joy-Cons to connect the system and Joy-Cons. There's also little rubbery materials in these divots that match the Joy-Cons' respective colors, and this is most likely here to prevent damage to the Joy-Cons. After the Joy-Cons, we get our first look at the console altogether, and it's a nice, modern, and sleek design that looks super good. After that, we get a better look at the console after the name Nintendo Switch 2 is shown for the first time, and the logo for the system is on the back of the tablet, similar to how the original Switch had its logo back there as well. And then we get the first bit of gameplay for the first game we know of for Switch 2, being a new Mario Kart. I'm not going to go into much detail here as I want to make a video on this later on, but here's a few notable things I caught in this trailer. Firstly, we got 24 racers that are able to race at once, rather than the 12 or 8 that we've seen previously in the series. The first track shown seems to be called Mario Bros. Circuit, and it takes place in a desert environment kind of similar to Radiator Springs from the 2006 Cars movie. I grew up with that movie, and that shit was great. The mainstay Mario Kart roster is here as well, with Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and all of them, and it looks like that Pauline is going to be joining this mainstay roster after she debuted in Mario Kart Tour and was later added to the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. The art style for this game as well is really reminiscent of that of Mario Bros. Wonder, where the character designs are more cartoony and expressive, and while it was weird at first, I really like these new designs for the characters. Taking a look at the dock now, the dock for Switch 2 appears to be a similar color to the original Switch's dock, with some key differences being that it's bigger to compensate for the bigger console. It obviously has the Switch 2 logo rather than Switch 1 logo, and at the top it's a bit more curved than the original dock. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons can magnetically attach to the new Switch 2 Joy-Con grip, similar to how they attach to the console straps, being kind of snapped into it rather than being connected by a rail system, and they can be disconnected by pushing the new trigger-like buttons on the back. For the launch window, we get a date of 2025, and while this was confirmed earlier on, the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible both physically and digitally with Switch 1 games, but some games may not be supported or fully compatible on Switch 2. At this time, there are 25 games that are confirmed to be backwards compatible for Switch 2, and these games include Mario & Luigi Brothership, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Princess Peach Showtime, WarioWare Move It, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon 3, Pikmin 4, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Strikers Battle League, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Fire Emblem Engage, Nintendo Switch Sports, Metroid Prime Remastered, Luigi's Mansion 3, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, Game of the Year right here, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As for when we'll get more information on the console, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct dedicated to Switch 2 on April 2nd, and Nintendo will be hosting hands-on events around the world between April and June 2025. And that is everything we know about Switch 2 based on the information we have at this time. Is there anything I missed, or are you mad that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD isn't going to be a launch title for Switch 2? Let me know down in the comments, as again, I am just one guy, so there's bound to be things that I missed. It's honestly super exciting to know that we're in the year of Switch 2 now. After years of leaks and rumors and just non-stop talk about this console, it's nice that we finally saw it and that we can look forward to it sometime later this year. As previously mentioned, I'm going to be making a separate video about Mario Kart later on, so if you want to see that when that releases, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications so you're notified when that video comes out. That's it for this one though. But if you want to see another video by me, there's a video on screen now where I react to the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer, and I think you'll enjoy it. With that being said, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Crescendo, signing out, and goodbye, Nub Nation.